You are it.
Good evening and welcome. I'd like to invite everybody here for the May 25th, 2021 Pleasant Township Board of Trustees meeting. It will be called to order. Please stand for a moment of silence. Please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No minutes to approve. I'll make a motion to pay the bi-monthly expenditures. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Good. Yes. Trustee Henry. Additionally, I'd like to make a motion to authorize the fiscal officer to pay the SWICO invoice for the recycle carts after she clarifies the administrative fees.
I'll second that.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Good. Yes. Trustee Henry.
I omitted at the beginning of the meeting for a roll call. The fiscal officer, please call the roll.
Trustee Sheets.
Here.
Trustee Good. Here. Trustee Hunter.
We'll next go to visitors. Mr. Yasmin, would you like to introduce yourself and take the podium?
Sure. Sit by the podium to be on the screen here. Actually, no, you're not even on screen there. You need to. So I can address these guys?
You can come over here if you like.
No, it's okay. I don't need to
All right.
get my face in the other way, but I'm just here to really introduce myself. I work with Apex Clean Energy, and we're a firm that builds renewable power plants, utility scale wind and solar plants. We're working on solar plant to be developed in the southwest corner of Pleasant Township, and there will be a lot of work to do like public outreach. You guys are abreast of our development, but this is really day one, so don't have much to report other than we're here, and I want to provide a just 5-minute, very high-level overview of our work, what the process is in Ohio for developing a utility-scale solar plant, and then I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. So, just so that everybody is on the same page with what we're talking about, there are different solar businesses at the residential, commercial, and utility scale. So, not to be confused with the solar facilities that might go on a house or a building or power a campus. We're building a relatively large scale plant that would put electricity onto the grid. And you see a lot of these popping up in this part of the state. Solar electricity and wind electricity are the cheapest forms of new electrical plant to build because the wind and the sun are free, right? And so if you can finance a 25 or 30-year life cycle plant, there are lots of places to sell it. Utilities that service retail customers like you and me buy our electricity, but so do a lot of other large corporate off-takers. Pretty much anybody with a large electrical load, so that's part of their business. Data centers are frequent customers of ours, just like big warehouses full of computers, but also traditional manufacturing facilities with electrical needs. Trane that produces household AC units up in Toledo. They put out a request for proposal recently for solar plants, and we don't have a deal set up for this project yet because it isn't designed yet. But that's kind of the business in a nutshell, right?
Now, do you anticipate selling the electricity to the local electric company or different individuals?
Hard to say. Probably and most likely to a single corporate off-taker, like one that I just kind of described. Facebook, Apple, or Google are frequent customers, but we've signed power purchase agreements, they're called PPAs, with dozens of different companies, McDonald's, IKEA. If you go on our website, there's a list of them, and it's a growing number, but also very diverse, because a lot of these companies, pretty any company, again, with long-term electrical needs, wants the cheap electricity and wants to have, be able to claim green electrical production, right? And so, and green their plants, so to speak. I do want to mention the Ohio Power Siting Board process is the governing kind of construction regulation here. So any power plant with a capacity greater than 49 megawatts, so 50 megawatts and above, is permitted through the Ohio Power Siting Board. It's under the Public Utility Commission of Ohio. And definitely encourage your constituents to visit the Ohio Power Siting Board's website. A lot of great references for the procedural, milestones that they will be involved in. The OPSB solicits public input at different stages in the project, but throughout the process, the public's invited to write in or email in to the OPSB, and their comments are logged in the official record related to each plant. What is really unique about wind and solar development is that, relative to pretty much anything else, is that if I was developing a McDonald's or an IKEA or any other single building, I'd go to a single landowner and say, your parcel is on this road. Here's what I would like to do. I'd like to put the building here and orient it this way, parking lot on the left side, maybe. The design of our plants really can't be done until we first lease the ground for it. And that's challenging because you need more than one landowner in most cases. So far, we have about 8 leases covering about 1,000 acres, and we'll get a couple more to round out. So you lease the ground, you do the required studies, site studies, and then you design the plant and permit it through the state. The important, the big questions I think most constituents would come to you and ask, like, where's this going to go? What's it going to look like? What's the visibility going to be? All of that we can speak to in terms of design standards, but the answers really come when we hold a public information meeting and present our initial design, right? And so that's what we're working towards now. And the first important milestone you guys should be aware of related to OPSB is that no more than 90 days prior to submitting our application with designs, we have to have a public information meeting. I think maybe it's called an open house, but it becomes a part of the OPSB record. The state OPSB reps actually are here and part of the meeting, and we would be expected to not only share our design, but also high level summary of like their work, kind of the conversation we're having now. But in the meantime, if you get any questions about this project or our work in general, please feel free to pass my number on to constituents who may be curious. As the project kind of becomes more real, I'm sure conversation about it will tick up a little bit, but I think that's the high level summary right now. Like I said, we're still in early days, but if all goes well, we'll finish leasing this year, do our field studies this summer, and be able to put together that design later this year. The goal would be to submit to OPSB, submit our application to the state in Q1 of next year. So.
You mentioned wind and solar.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to incorporate wind turbines in this?
No, sir. No, this is just a solar project. Apex just has experience in both. And we work on 3 wind projects in Ohio and about half a dozen with solar projects. So clear about that. This is just a solar.
Any questions? Chiefs, anybody have any questions?
I don't think so. Just Hannah, the reporter, and Deputy Carter's going to go on right
Okay.
now.
Thank you, Mr. Yasmin.
Very good. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I have one of your cards, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just for the record, I will go ahead and that was Ben Yasmin, Development Manager, Apex Clean Energy Incorporated, 310 4th Street Northeast, Suite 210, Charlottesville, Virginia, 22902, with an office phone of area code 434-270-7519. We'll now move on to department reports. Deputy Carter for the Franklin County Sheriff's report.
Good evening. How is everybody?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, it's been busy as the summer months kick in. So we went to a new reporting system in Franklin County Sheriff's Office. It's the Matrix. And as of right now, the old report system and our new reporting system we're kind of not really able to give exact stats. So I don't have any stats available for you tonight. Hopefully by next month, those kinks will be worked out and I give you exact numbers for Pleasant Township. In the meantime, I wanted to let you know I have gotten some complaints about Don down by Darbydale. And I believe the Franklin County Board of Health is also involved, and we're trying to figure out ways to clean up a certain property in that general area. Also, I've gotten other speed complaints off of Norton Road and Johnson on a specific car and a specific time. I can tell you I have sent out emails to our patrol division. And also I have done speed enforcement myself. I have not been able to find the white BMW that is allegedly doing over 100 miles an hour in that general area. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if we can't catch that guy and slow him down a bit. I've also had other speed complaints in Oakhurst. We're going to try to get the speed trailer out there. Obviously with the summer months, other townships are asking for the speed trailer. So as soon as it's available, I'm going to snatch it up and take it down to Oakhurst. It seems like most of them are during the evening hours when people are coming home from school and other kids are out. So we're going to try to knock that down here soon as well. I do have a couple days of traffic data from the speed trailer on Lambert Road. I can tell you just by glancing, not really digging real deep into it, but they have the report shows an average of the speed on all the cars that travel through there. I've done northbound and southbound, and I can tell you the averages are below or at the speed limit of 45 miles an hour. Now, that does not mean that everyone is doing the speed limit. We do have some captures of, cars doing over 63, 60 miles an hour in some cases. But overall, the averages are below the speed limit on Lambert Road. So I wanted to share that with the trustees this evening. And that's kind of all I have at this point. If you guys have any questions or concerns.
Did you hear about the tires being dumped on the parking lot at Amon's Greenhouse?
I didn't hear it from anyone specific, but I did hear it put out on the radio because I was working overtime. So I can't remember if the last time we had talked. We have a new environmental detective. I've reached out to him. I'm waiting on a response to find out if he's got any information on suspect vehicles, but I did hear about the tire dumping.
They're gone. Somebody's cleaned them up. I mean, on my way here, I saw that they were gone.
Okay. So depending on the environmental, the county will end up picking some of those up as well. So again, I kind of waiting on word back from that detective.
Okay. Anyone with any questions for Deputy Carter? Thank you, Deputy Carter. Have a good evening.
All right, you too, guys. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Moving on next to the road department, Robert Bouch.
Last meeting I had street sweeping on there, but it wasn't completed. It now has been completed in subdivision of Timberlake. We held our spring cleanup. It went pretty good. They had pretty much all dumpsters out of here the following Monday. The only thing we are still dealing with are the electronics. And Swaco used to have a contract with one of the e-waste recyclers. Well, that contract has expired. But I still am having them come to get them, but their prices are going to be higher since that contract has expired, because right now I've got 2 trucks of televisions, computers, and really the landfill doesn't want them there. I did make a phone call to Andrew Booker at Swaco, and I haven't heard back from him yet to see if they're gonna renew any kind of contract. Yeah, if they don't want them, they try something. We started mowing the ditches, and we're just, between everything else, jumping back and forth. When we get a chance, we'll get out there and get them mowed. Just please be patient with us. The bench at the flag burning pit, I removed the top from it a while back because it had come loose and I was afraid somebody would get hurt if they sat on it. But I got a phone call from Mark Schmidt. I guess him and his son drove by and seen him as the lid or the top was going. So they built a completely different bench, which I like a lot better, and it looks really nice. So that kind of saved me some work for this week too.
It's already installed.
It's already installed, yep. We removed the tree at the cemetery. It's close to our equipment building there. I just been keeping an eye on this tree, and just since the new place for our Memorial Day thing is right up there, this tree just scares me. And eating and starting to get hollow, and I'm afraid it'd fall in a car, the building, kill somebody. So. But other than that, I have the detour approval for, I don't know if everybody got the email about when they're closing 665, 2 different sections. They're going to be using Young Road as a detour. Well, on that end of Young Road, Jackson Township maintains that end. But I just want one of the trustees' signatures for the approval.
Can you get it back to them then?
Yeah, I can get it back to him. And I also seen on here that Nancy had down 6461 Oakhurst Drive about drainage. I did go out and look at that, but I told him if I can wait till after Memorial Day, I'll come out, bring a laser, take shots. But just the first glance, there's somebody tried to dig it out before, and there's low spots and stuff like that where I think just a little bit of regrading might help that a lot. The property at 62 in Columbus Street, I did look at that. I was going to give it another week or 2 just to see if they have mowed it before I do anything else about that. The administrator from Jackson Township was wanting to know, I'm really not sure what they have in mind yet, but it's like a berm upgrade. As of right now, on our end, we try to keep berm stone down and stuff like that, but they're wanting to know if we want to cost share on that. But when
That's their section.
that's their section, when we've made improvements on our end, we didn't ask them to cost share on that part either. So,
Okay.
and the other one was Nancy received an email from the land bank about properties that they own, and they're wanting to know if there's a local person that could do some mowing. I'm gonna get a hold of this guy and find out where the properties are, take a look at them, and if they're 3 foot tall, there's no sense in having the guy go out with a lawnmower. So I'll just have to get a hold of him and take a look at them properties.
You'll take care of that?
Yeah. And yeah, just the last thing on her thing was that detour. That's all I have.
Moving on to the fire department report, Chief Taylor.
Buddy. So far for May, we've had 106 runs. We've been pretty busy this month. Lots of activity. Today we had the ASI and preventive maintenance completed on engine 1. They found a few problems that'll be covered under warranty. They'll be working on getting those scheduled. Nothing that's earth shattering and taking out of service or anything, just a few minor little glitches here and there. So our 2-year warranty is up on that truck in August. So that was one of the reasons we had had them come out and give that thing a once over. So also in the last couple of weeks, we had extinguisher inspections completed here at the station. So if you hadn't heard, we've received a complaint from a citizen regarding the condition of the Dollar General at Lambert Road in US 62. I think this is an industry-wide problem with these stores. More and more Dollar Generals I go in, they're in pretty sad shape. Lieutenant, when we got the complaint, Lieutenant Kuno was on duty. He went down and visited the store, found numerous hazards, including some significant life safety issues. They spoke with the regional manager, who didn't really seem to have any interest in fixing these problems. Basically, her answer to them was, "Yeah, good luck," and left it at that. So he called me Saturday morning. Myself and Lieutenant Will visited the store that day. We spoke with the regional manager as well as the store manager that was on duty at the time. They're having severe, like a lot of other places are, they're having severe employee problems. Lots of employees aren't coming to work. They're quitting. They're, finding other jobs, that sort of thing. So that was part of their problem. The other problem was they got 2 trucks in the same week. They dumped both the trucks inside the store. They had exits blocked. They had the electrical panels blocked. Lots of things that were what I considered immediate life safety hazards. I spoke to Chief Vance over at the Ohio Fire Marshal's office and got some advice from him as well. So long story short, with that Saturday, basically they voluntarily closed the store that day and took care of the immediate life safety issues, unblocked the exits and that sort of thing, and they reopened Sunday. We've been doing some spot checks, making sure they got things cleaned up. The store is navigable. What they've done is they've closed a couple of the aisles completely and put all the stock in those aisles and just roped them off, which is acceptable to me because now you can at least navigate through the store. They still have a long way to go. We were down there today, looked around again. Doesn't look a whole lot different, but again, their employee challenges. So we got that on our radar. So if any of the residents out there see a problem like that, don't hesitate to give us a call. We'll address it as soon as we can. I just have one request for this evening, and that is I would request a resolution from the board to approve the light duty request retroactive to Monday, May 17th for firefighter Jeremy Sanchez, who is returning to light duty from a on-duty related illness. Per his physician paperwork, he could be on light duty through his next appointment, which is scheduled for June 15th. Barring further need for light duty, he is expected to return to full duty on or around June 18th. That's part of the policy we adopted for light duty, is the trustees have to approve that. You guys have verbally done that prior to the meeting, but I just wanted to solidify that with a resolution if you don't mind.
I will make resolution 38 to approve the light duty request retroactive to Monday, May 17th, 2021 for firefighter Jeremy Sanchez, who is returning to light duty from duty-related illness. Per his physician paperwork, could be on light duty through his next appointment, which is scheduled for June 15th. Barring further need for light duty, he is expected to return to full duty on or by June 18th. Will I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Hunter. Ms. Absent. Trustee Good.
Yes.
Last thing I have for this evening is just a quick coronavirus update. Right now, we stand as a county at 2,365 active cases. We are still in the red because we're still above that 100 cases per 100,000 people at 102.98. And as you probably heard, and if you're not, you're living under a rock. Most of the health mandates will be dropped on June 2nd. So the masking and all that sort of stuff. Some of those things are starting to relax now. Internally, we're taking a look at all of our procedures and policies and just making sure we're still making the guys as safe as possible, especially on runs. And whether the health mandates go away or not, COVID will not. So we are still going to deal with this for probably the foreseeable future and likely forever. So we had a COVID run the other day. Guys had their equipment and stuff on, so we did have a COVID run the other day. So vaccinations are still available out there. I'm not going to go through them all, but if you're looking for a vaccine, if you haven't had one, you're interested in getting one, they're out there. Department of Health website, Columbus Public Health website, and Franklin County Public Health website can all direct you to where to go. So local pharmacies have them readily available. Unless you have anything for me, that's all I have for this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to old business. Old business, as Deputy Carter stated, we have an ongoing numerous complaints for 5585 Don Drive. Many young people living in the outbuilding and burned out house along with tents, using the bathroom in the yard and creating a lot of noise throughout the night. The sheriff's department's been called numerous times saying there was nothing they can do. The code enforcement officer turned this address over to the county prosecutor's office approximately 2 weeks ago. The assistant prosecutor today, Mrs. Fields, stated the packet that they received from the building department was missing some documentation. They were waiting on that documentation to proceed. We've received the first invoice for the recycle carts. Covered that when we did the bills this morning. And resolution that will be read at the Ebenezer Cemetery will be handled by the chief. Is that correct?
Yes, I have that here. I knew there was something else. That's it. I need it. Thank you. Both Randy and Nancy asked me to come up with a resolution. So I came up with this for honoring William Dawson for his service and contributions to Pleasant Township at the Ebenezer Cemetery. It reads as follows. Whereas the Ebenezer Methodist Episcopal Cemetery, known commonly as the Ebenezer Cemetery, is located at the intersection of Johnson Road and Coons Road in Pleasant Township, Franklin County, Ohio. Whereas Mr. William Dawson lives adjacent to the cemetery in what was once the Ebenezer Methodist Episcopal Church. And whereas over the course of several centuries, there have been numerous members of the community who have been laid to rest at the Ebenezer Cemetery, including veterans of the Revolutionary War, Civil War, Spanish-American War, and World War II. And whereas Mr. William Dawson has cared for the cemetery grounds for many years, giving of his own time to assure that extra special care was given to those that are laid to rest within the cemetery. And whereas Mr. William Dawson spearheaded a campaign to create an honor arch for the entry to the cemetery, including fundraising, design, and completion of the arch and walkway. And whereas the Pleasant Township Board of Trustees believe that it is in the best interest of the township and its residents to recognize, honor, and thank Mr. William Dawson for his years of selfless service to Pleasant Township in the care and upkeep of the Ebenezer Cemetery. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Pleasant Township, Franklin County, Ohio, that the following resolution is hereby adopted. Pleasant Township Board of Trustees and its residents hereby acknowledges and extends their appreciation to Mr. William Dawson for his contributions and many years of service to the community for the restoration and preservation of the Ebenezer Methodist Episcopal Cemetery.
Job well done.
Yes. So I need a
So we need that down.
resolution adopted for that.
Can I see this?
Sure can.
That'd be 39.
You want me to read it?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to make resolution 39, a resolution honoring William Dawson for his service and contributions to Pleasant Township at the Ebenezer Cemetery.
I'll second that. Roll call.
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes.
Trustee Harris.
What I will do is I will prepare a larger copy of that like we do for the firefighters when they retire. And get a frame for Mr. Dawson, and I will let you guys know when that will be available for your signature and Paula's signature. And we'll have, you guys can present that to him on Memorial Day at the.
We'll have it by then.
Yes, I will have it done. I'll get it done tomorrow. I just couldn't get it all completed today. But I'll get it done tomorrow, and I knew Nancy wasn't gonna be here this evening, but I'll get it done tomorrow. It'll be available for you guys to sign. And then we'll get it in the frame, and you guys can present it to them at the ceremony there on Memorial Day. So,
Thank you for handling
Thank
that.
you.
Moving on to announcements. Reminder that the Memorial Day service, 11 o'clock, Ebenezer Cemetery at the intersection of Kuntz, Johnson Road, will be May 31st, Monday at 11 a.m. Following that, there will be a Memorial Day service at the Oak Grove Cemetery at 1 o'clock. There we'll move to the fiscal officers updates. All of it.
Okay, I received from Retirement for our insurance renewal. They have a questionnaire and I'm gonna copy it to the department heads because most of those questions, they can answer better than I can. Just have to send that back
Is that
in.
per each employee or?
No, it's
It's
just in general.
Okay.
The liability, property and all that.
Like if we've done alcohol testing, drug testing, so, but they just needed number. Tech Review Committee had, for Franklin County, had a meeting today. Most of the emails I've received are just informational purposes and information purposes. Quite a few from the State Township Association, SWACO. Like I said, they're just kind of informational type stuff, nothing that we have to take any action on. We see the State Township Association newsletter, and that's really all I have. Like I said, the main thing was that questionnaire we need to get filled out.
Is there anybody having any questions, Chief, there on the internet?
no, sir.
No comments? Nothing else needs to be brought before the board, the meeting tonight? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Trustee Sheets.
Yes.
Trustee Good.
Yes.
Trustee Lynn.
Meeting concluded at 7:33.